Hey, everybody. Thank you for being here. And welcome to Three Things Chats That Inspire. I'm talking with folks about fresh ideas. And each month we have a topic in 2022 and a workshop. And this month it is changing the narrative or the impact of the narrative, exploring the narrative around appearance for girls. And so our guests this month are talking about three key things about that topic. And there are a lot of aspects to this topic. There are a lot of angles that you can come at it from. And so we're actually having three different conversations about the impact of appearance and the narrative of around appearance for girls. So today I have the great pleasure of speaking with a friend, Karen Johnson. And Karen and I met last year. We were working on a project together for the juvenile court system in St. Louis, and we discovered we have a ton of things in common. Karen is a social services supervisor working with families to prevent their entry into the foster care system. She offers crisis intervention. She supervises a team, and their whole purpose is keeping families together. And through their program, they have a 95% success rate, which I think is phenomenal. Karen is also an adjunct professor, and she is the mom of 5 boys, ranging in age from 27 all the way down to 12. So Karen, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Oh, you are so welcome. You're so welcome. So in anticipation of that workshop, changing the narrative around appearance for girls, that's happening on February 12th, I am really excited to talk to you and hear your perspective. So if you just want to take it away.
Well, sure. Let me start by saying that even though I have been parenting boys, the whole issue of appearance and stuff has affected me too. And one story that comes to mind that I shared with you, Maggie, was about my son, whose father is Hispanic. And so he has very curly, black, shiny hair. And I ran into this issue where other people would say that he had good hair. And I thought a lot about that because I was like, well, it's good, but mine's good too. My hair is also good. What is this issue about having good hair? And conversely, what is, why are we looking at this as a good or a bad? And what it came to signify to me that there is a beauty standard in this country, that people that have hair like mine is considered not so good, and people that's hair is straighter or more thin is good. And I wanted to kind of give some thoughts around that, because I think it's really important when you talk about looks and image and how that affects girls. Hair for the African American community in particularly is a really hot topic and a really sore subject for a lot of people. So what I wanted to do was kind of make, a couple of points about that so that, we kind of can get away from those lines of thinking and getting into, there's something good about all of us and something natural about all of us. So I guess the first point I wanted to make was what you got up on the screen here. Change the judgment about hair. Human hair is human hair. Human skin is human skin. It's just different in the way it looks, but that's window dressing. We want to use descriptive words such as, my kid has curly hair. He does. He has long corkscrew curls. His hair is very dark. It's black and it's shiny. Those are good descriptive words to talk about how he looks, but it isn't passing, the bad judgment that, that you're not as pretty or you're not as good if you don't have straight hair, you don't have a certain kind of hair. Like I said, human hair is made up of the same things, and it's actually part of the plan, the master plan. It's God's perfection to make it that way.
That.
So I'm challenging you all to kind of focus on, rather than what's on the outside, what's window dressing, and kind of do a lot more focus on what's on the inside, in terms of recognizing the beauty that you have and what you own. It has taken me a long time to figure that out. And if I could impress that upon young women, that's exactly what I would do. There's nothing wrong with how you look. It is part of God's plan. When we're beautiful on the inside, it makes you beautiful on the outside, because you have that inner glow, that presence about you, that thing about you that makes you good. And we need to spend some time recognizing those things, instead of spending billions of dollars. Black hair care that's a billion-dollar enterprise of things that we've done to force what is natural and what's good into something that it isn't. And I'm not criticizing people who do it. You're just, responding to the environment around you, to try to straighten your hair or different things like that. But also, there's been some pretty extreme measures. Just this month, people have been talking about, Black History Month in February. And one of the people, the first Black millionaire, was a woman named Madam C.J. Walker. And she invented a way that Black women could straighten their hair.
Wow.
That's what made the money. Because, there was this pressure to change it, that it's not acceptable the way it is. The fact is that it's a lot easier and a lot, nicer for me to just wear my hair the way it is. And I like to wear braids, but even if you, no matter how you consider wearing it, understanding that it's what's on the inside, that really and truly counts. And we need to push that message to our young people so that they don't feel so much pressure to change themselves and to wear, weave. You're the only kid that doesn't have weave in their hair, so that makes you ugly, or that makes you not acceptable. We need to get away from that kinds of thing.
I love what you're saying. And you know what it reminds me of is the conversations that parents have with their kids about this, and how important that is, and what kids see their parents doing. Like, if kids see their parents natural and very self-accepting around their hair, that will guide them to do that too.
It's starting to go there. There are people that, I want to wear a natural style. And there's also, some legislation in some places where it will kind of support people being able to just be themselves, and not fit the standard that is man created. I'm a believer that God creates everything for a reason. And that kind of leads me into my third point, which is to normalize skin color, hair texture, and eye shape. And make that, it's not a good, it's not a bad, it just is. It's just human. If you look at it from the standpoint of, and this is how I would teach a 2-year-old, that it all comes down to that human beings are human beings. And the only differences are just that they're just skin deep. If you live in a climate that's very hot near the equator, if you don't want to burn, you don't want to cook, your skin is going to be able to absorb that light and not burn as quickly. All human skin burns, but it might not burn as quickly if you have a natural protectant called melanin in your skin that
Mhm.
helps you to be able to do that. When you are coming from colder climates, you need the sunlight and you need vitamin D to get into your skin. And so your skin lightens in order to be able to absorb those rays that are not as strong and direct as they would be around the equator. It's just that simple. Hair and texture is the same way. You want to be able to get those nutrients and sunlight. And so thinner hair goes with climates that require that, and tighter wave patterns. That goes with climates that are far hotter. And it only makes sense to do that. And when I say it's God's perfection, that's what I believe it is. God helped our bodies to adapt to the climate. And the only thing that's kind of really made that different is, people migrating, moving around, marriages,
Mhm.
sometimes conquering between groups.
Yeah,
Sometimes it has, let's be honest. But
very
for
true.
it is true. But that's kind of what's driven the differences. And so the idea that people are different because of how they look is just kind of silly, because it is a natural and normal thing. The same thing for eye shape. You will hear about people getting surgery on their eyes to make them wider, make them more like Western eyes.
Mhm.
Um, and again, it's God's perfection. If you live in a place that has blowing snow, blowing sand, extreme light, in your eyes, the lids will change shape to protect you from that element, that environmental element. And it doesn't make it bad.
Right.
It just makes it, makes you be able to handle that.
Yeah.
So that's where I would go with that, is to make sure that your kids know that that's just normal, and it is perfection. And to That's another way that they're going to feel good about who they are, is just making it just normal and natural.
I love that. Karen, thank you so very much for being here today and sharing everything. And it's wonderful to see you. And thank you so
You
much.
as well, and thanks
Thank
so
you.
much for having me and for
You are
inviting.
so welcome.